Доброго дня, друзі.
Good afternoon, dear friends. I'm Sergiy Leschenko, and I wanted to present you my latest investigation, which took almost 6 months for me. Because I devoted only my extra office hours to it, and I studied and collected a lot of materials. This is about real estates of Serhiy Liovochkin and Dmytro Firtash, very famous the then government officials of Ukraine. You cannot see any data about these real estates in their tax declarations, but these are real estates in Serhiy, close to Nice, and where only some 2,000 people reside permanently. The real estate prices are at extremely high level there. Serhiy Liovochkin is the active member of parliament of Ukraine, and you can see here the house which became subject of my investigation, and which brought me to RosUkrEnergo company and the company which privatized Ukrtelekom. First, the European Union introduced sanctions against Ukrainian government officials, and surprisingly, there were neither representatives of the biggest oligarchs of Ukraine in this list. And here you see the letter from the Prosecutor's General Office, and in this letter, there were no representatives from RosUkrEnergo, neither Serhiy Liovochkin nor Dmytro Firtash or Yuri Boyko, and even Yevgen Bakulin and Katsuba brothers. Unfortunately, Mr. Magnitsky, who was the then general prosecutor, are not brought to responsibility for not mentioning these real people with their really very expensive real estates in this letter, and they freely use their real estate. In Serhiy, there is a very nice building which belongs to Dmytro Firtash. It is located on Charles de Gaulle Boulevard, building number 52. It was purchased by Mr. Firtash some 10 years ago. The auditors evaluate this building up to 49 million euros. This is the entry to the house. This villa is called the Moritan. You can see the name of this villa. I have the documents which clearly indicate that it belongs to Mr. Firtash. They will be available at Ukrainska Pravda website. Because, and you will see there the document signed by Mr. Firtash. 10 steps from Mr. Firtash villa at Charles de Gaulle Boulevard, number 56, there is another building, and this is the building of Serhiy Liovochkin. You won't be able to find any information about it. The first push for me was this picture in Instagram, located by Serhiy Liovochkin. 10 years ago, I started my investigation and found this villa, which amounts to 40 million euros, which belongs to the Serhiy Liovochkin and his family. You can see these villas from aerial height. There are 10 land plots united into one land plot. This from the outside, from the street, you see rather modest building, but if you look from the aerial outlook, you will see exotic plants, you will see many exotic buildings there. This is one of the most expensive land plots in the city. In area of Saint Jean Cap Ferrat, I've gotten information that this property belongs to Glorietta Investments company, which is registered in Denmark. Here you can see that this real estate registered under this address belongs to this very company. These documents clearly shows that Glorietta Investments company is managed by two directors, by two CEOs. One CEO, Arsenia Gerge, and Kenya Pierce. These are two ladies who are registered in Nicosia on Cyprus. This is annual report of Glorietta company with data that they own the building, the real estate and land plot which is located in France. That's why they do not pay any taxes in Denmark. They became CEOs in this Danish company owned by Liovochkin in 2011. The same day in Luxembourg, in beautiful, the owners of the directors of this company again were changed. Thus, we see that which 100% owns Glorietta. So the same day when directors in Denmark were changed, the same day in Luxembourg, directors of this company were changed. Another three ladies from Cyprus became directors of those Luxembourg company. You can find this official information in official register in Luxembourg. Again, we have three nominal directors, three nominal owners of the company. Then I investigated further the direction which brought me to Ukrtelekom. You might remember that Ukrtelekom was privatized under Viktor Yanukovych era via TOV SU. 2 weeks prior to the tender, the owner of SU was changed. Epic Telecom Invest Limited became the owner of SU. So as of the moment of Ukrtelekom purchase, Ukrtelekom was purchased by SU. As of today, Epic Telecom had changed its name. It's called Raga Establishment Limited, but they have the same registration number registered in Kipro. Adriana P.S. and Georgia is they are absolutely relatives. Of course, it's not enough, but I found the data about the owners of the bank clearing house, clearingovый дім. So here I was able to use a new law on the final beneficiaries of banks, and this is official letter from the National Bank. Yulia Liovochkina is one of the owners of the Clearingovый дім bank, clearing house bank. She is sister of Sergiy Liovochkin. One of the stakeholders of Clearingovый дім is and we see again Ms. Georgia and Skara Investments Limited. This Georgia is co-owner of the co-owner of the company which owned that villa. Also, we can see Maria Shuftas, Skara from Skara Investors. This is again official company which was officially recognized by Sergiy Liovochkin as his official companies. I continued to look for proofs that Sergiy Liovochkin and Firtash were part of the privatization of Ukrtelekom. I've got the unique document. This is a memorandum prepared for Renata Akhmetov when he when he bought the Ukrtelekom for the second time. First, Ukrtelekom was bought by Epic Telecom, and later Renata Akhmetov mentioned that he bought that Ukrtelekom from Epic. This document is drafted in the style of Renata Akhmetov's press service, which described how to substantiate this purchase. And here again, we see the names of the same companies, Peak, etc., who were participants of this first sale of Ukrtelekom. As of today, Ukrainian Prosecutor General's office investigates the sale of Ukrtelekom, and they requested information from Cyprus. As far as I know, as of now, the Cyprus did not answer to the Prosecutor General office, and this hinders investigation. Now we come to RosUkrEnergo company. You might remember that RosUkrEnergo was a gas trader that supplied to Ukraine gas from Russia. Then they became part of Ukrainian market and produced huge material resources. Who are beneficiaries of RosUkrEnergo? Just after appearance of RosUkrEnergo, Raiffeisen Investment was mentioned, who acted in benefit of anonymous clients, and RosUkrEnergo, 50% of RosUkrEnergo went to Centrogas, and Centrogas kept saying that they were one half owners of RosUkrEnergo. Besides Dmytro Firtash, there were another beneficiaries like Sergiy Liovochkin. since Central Gas Company from Austria, they were registered in Austria and provided their reports to the competent authorities in Austria. And in one of those documents, at the moment when RosUkrEnergo reached its peak in activities, 50% belonged to Central Gas, while half of Central Gas belonged to Prelux Holdings Limited, which is registered on Cyprus and which is again managed by Ksenia Georgiou, director of that Danish company, which is registered on Cyprus and which is registered in Denmark. Also, Prelux and Ksenia Georgiou, there was 50% of Prelux which belonged to Grener Enterprises, who is managed by Amals Lambro, which again belongs to Liovochkin. This is like Russian matryoshka, which brings us back to Sergiy Liovochkin. I could mention the same Cyprus ladies who appear, like Adriana Pias, who is director of Parcoa company, which owns the helicopters of Firtash, which are registered in the Register of Ukraine. So those companies are closely related to Sergiy Liovochkin. So he and his family owns non-declared building, which costs 40 million euros. The real estate belonging to owned by a person for a person who has been working in the civil service for 15 years. This very fact big question, moreover, that this real estate is located in Saint-Jean-Cap-Ferrat in France. And again, we discover a huge corruption, participation of Liovochkin in privatization of Ukrtelekom, and also participation of Liovochkin of Firtash in RosUkrEnergo transactions. That privatization of Ukrtelekom was done under cover of Yanukovych, and as far as you might know, Yanukovych is now announced to Interpol search for this corruption affair with the Ukrtelekom. I will provide the Prosecutor General Office with this my information. Also, I will provide this information to the National Anti-Corruption Bureau. Will you please make it available for us to see this scheme? I will explain in more this scheme in more detail. Dmytro, Firtash, and Sergiy Liovochkin, who are neighbors in France. Serhiy Liovochkin owns this company Gloretta, which belongs to him, while Mr. Firtash owns another villa, and while this network of directors and owners, we can decipher the entire scheme of corruption. I believe that there's investigation would allow to discover to reveal the cover which Prokuror Shokin provides for Liovochkin and Firtash. Several months ago, I submitted an appeal about LNG scheme undertaken by Boyka, but Mr. Shokin did not devote attention to it. I believe that my colleagues and journalists are happy with your presentation, and now they're able to ask questions. All those findings, all those documents, copies of documents you may find on Ukrainska Pravda website. Also, I have handouts here which I will disseminate after the presentation. Also, the same information will be in press release disseminated by UCMC, and now you may ask questions.
Marina Blahina, 112 channel. Do you know? We have already mentioned National Anti-Corruption Bureau. Do you know how the investigation goes? What are the developments? Yesterday, David Zhvania was questioned about uranium supply to Kazakhstan through Austrian company intermediary. And National Anti-Corruption Bureau delegation is going to Austria on this case. Do you think Mr. Martynenko will listen to all the suspicions? He should be announced suspect in 2 cases at least. Have already been submitted all these materials to the General Prosecutor's Office of Ukraine. Whether they have been submitted to other borders of other countries, for example Austria. After this news briefing, I will submit all these documents to the General Prosecutor's Office. I have already had contacts with them, and they are interested because Ukrainian General Prosecutor's Office have already submitted request to Cyprus prosecutors to find out owners of SU company, but there is still no reply to the request of the General Prosecutor's Office. But at the same time, I hope that Ukraine, through Ministry of Foreign Affairs, will ask Cyprus to respond to Ukrainian requests faster. It depends on the political will of the government of the country involved in the case. I have a question specifically concerning the previous one. What is the form of your information? You have submitted this information as the information about violation. I will submit it after this current news briefing. I can provide them in the form of interrogation, or I can send them by mail it doesn't matter. The main thing is that the General Prosecutor's Office should accelerate the investigation. Diplomatic channels should be used by General Prosecutor's Office. This should be supplied by you as an information, as a message about commitment of the crime. Yes, I agree with you, but I have already submitted several messages about commitment of the crime, for example, against Yulia Liovochkina, who was a lover of Yanukovych, and even a criminal case was initiated, but unfortunately no movement took place because Yulia Liovochkina did not come to interrogations, and the fines were not applied to her. And if we talk about Kravets, this guy was the former head of estate of Yanukovych. The proceedings started 7 months ago, and one volume of criminal case was developed. This means that there is no political will. When the political will is in place, then you can do something. If there is no political will, it doesn't matter whether I submit the documents as a message of blaming of commitment of crime. And where is this Matryoshka doll connecting Mr. Liovochkin as an owner of this building, that this is not the building which is not declared in his tax declarations. He had no such obligations till this year. What is the final company owner of all those previous firms? Yes, I can say this is a key question. It owns to a company Beauty Luxembourg based is the final owner, and they are not in the public access thanks to the network of directors we can make. So rather true opinion that Bufour is the final owner, and the National Anti-Corruption Bureau can make such opinion, can issue such opinion. There are enough proofs. Special people with special access to information should be engaged. I mean, investigators from Luxembourg, enforcement bodies, or labor company in Denmark. Investigators having special access in Denmark, they should be also engaged to this investigation, to these proceedings, to find out final beneficiaries of the company. Can you tell us, as concern your words of covering this parties in this case, as concerned RosUkrEnergo by Mr. Shokin, what are the proofs? As I have already said, the General Prosecutor's Office have already completed some investigation on liquefied gas, which should have been used by population. It was sold by Kurchenko's companies at low prices to commercial enterprises, and more than 400.5 billion hryvnias were earned by Kurchenko. All these events happens when Mr. Boyka knew about those deals, relevant articles of the criminal code were cited, were referred to, and this document was submitted to Shokin, but the general prosecutor failed to sign this criminal case. It happened in summer this year. This document is pending in the general prosecutor's office without any movement. Yuri Boyka was the Minister of Energy Industry, and he facilitated Kurchenko in his fraudulent deals with LNG. When this guy came to the ministry as a minister of Energy, Mr. Boyka came there. He started to help with these deals, and he was Mr. Dragan was responsible for anti-corruption direction with the Ministry of Energy, and this guy is now an assistant to Mr. Shokin. And what will be the perspective of the case, of this case, taking into consideration the fact that Shokin has not signed the documents? I think that political will of Mr. Shokin is not enough, because he depends on the president of Ukraine. Once the president of Ukraine gives any political signal that there is political will, then Mr. Shokin will take relevant steps. We have National Anti-Corruption Bureau. I'm sure that it has more powers to investigate into such politically sensitive cases like Boyka's case is. Opposition bloc voted for Shokin to be appointed general prosecutor. Now the general public presses so that the investigation in this case, in this Boyka's case, conducted, or otherwise the general public may initiate no confidence voting against Mr. Shokin as a prosecutor general. Mr. Shokin was the figure in which was discussed during the negotiations, and the U.S. representatives received a signal that this guy will be hired or fired. So, yes, Shokin should be dismissed. This power responds to partners' requests such as the Washington or Europe. Specification. Could you specify about Ukrtelekom? Liovochkin and Firtash are the initial buyers. What is criminal in this case? Whether the state did not receive market price. The competition is the main fundamental thing for getting competitive price, market price. Privatization should be on competitive basis, but those days it was within such periods. There was the end of the year, New Year's holidays, and it was there are suspicions that it was intentionally that there was only one bidder instead of many bidders made so that the competitive price was set. Mr. Yanukovych, along with other bureaucrats, they conducted a deal which relieved Epic Telecom Investment Limited of liabilities of confidential communication for 2 million hryvnias. This is one of the only episode for which Yanukovych is blamed, and the criminal case was initiated against him if Mr. Yanukovych forced these liabilities for $25 million to be transferred, to be relieved. What was the motivation? This means that Yanukovych was one of secret beneficiaries in this company because he saved those money, and this network of secret communication was built on the account of national budget of Ukraine. Who was the real body, real person in the privatization deal? This is still the question. How this fact of purchase, Ukrtelekom purchase by Akhmetov from Epic, how it would be better to provide this information in mass media sources. Proceeding from the above, according to you, is there any threat that the same scheme will be used to privatize other state-owned companies, for example, Ukrposhta? Do we have is there such threat that such privatization cases will happen? Maybe we live in the realities which are common in Ukraine. As for me, anyway, I will promote the privatization process because state-owned assets are very big political corruption objects. Cash from those state-owned objects is collected from them, and those big sums of cash they anyway are used in corruption schemes. So anyway, upon privatization, when Dutch companies become private, we took those huge amounts of money from corruption schemes. So real privatization with real investors, this is quite another scene with really growing prices. You saw already one case like this of with Krivarish Stal privatization. Initial price should grow in real tenders when you know that this year no facility, no asset which was scheduled for privatizations have been privatized. So we may state that starting with titanium industry and Odessa port plant, corrupt officials siphon budget money from those companies, use them to finance political parties, to bribe MPs. So any privatization will be a good thing for Ukraine, for its further development, for Thank you. We wish you every success. Dear colleagues, the next briefing, the last briefing today will take place at 3:30.